Hello there and welcome to the new Tableau dashboard tutorial. And in this tutorial, I will show you how you can create or show the dynamic charts within the Tableau to view it in the dashboard. So this is a functionality which I have seen in various different dashboards which are slightly advanced in nature and requires bit of settings that one needs to do. But it gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of additional charts and visualization you may want to show in your dashboard. For example, I'll give you one scenario. Suppose you have a chart which is showing you the product sales. So you have product 1, product 2, product 3 and product 4, its sales, and your user is coming back and saying, hey, side by side to this, can you show me the trend as well, or can you show me the contribution as well? Well, in scenarios like those, you really have to then make a judgment call whether which chart to remove from the dashboard or which chart to include, because people have different requirements all the time and they want to see more and more as they start consuming the dashboard. So in scenarios like this, where you need to show the multiple or more and more charts in your dashboard related to similar data, then this trick or this technique can be useful, which I believe was implemented somewhere around in 2020 in Tableau, and it's related to your dashboard actions using the parameters. So with some settings within the parameters, you can actually achieve a dynamic behavior where with the help of the icons or images, what you can do is you can basically indicate that, okay, this is a chart for showing the category comparison. This is the chart if you want to see the trend, or this is the chart if you want to see the contribution or data variation, like how much data is really variating. So all those types of analysis you can do in just one particular section of the chart, which you can basically create by giving it a proper name and a proper title, which is up to you as to or how do you want to show the title and everything. But mainly what I want to show is how you can display the dynamic charts in the dashboard. And using this scenario, you can implement not just in the entire dashboard, like not just in the one entire component which I will show you, but part of the component as well into the dashboard by doing the settings, which I will probably show it in one of my future videos which I'm planning, where I will show in one section of the dashboard how you can change it. But for today, since I'm explaining this very first time, I will show you step by step as to how you can achieve this, because there are small settings that one needs to do just to make sure that you are getting the right output. So let me show you first of all what basically the output is, and then how much effort is really required to achieve the output. All right, so with that, let's start, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and I'll try to answer that. Alright, so here I am within the final output that you will going to achieve by the end of this video. And as per the title, what's saying is Tableau dashboard with dynamic charts using icons. So for example, we have right now showing a trend chart which is related to this. But if I want to show the variation in data, then I can come over here and click on this, and you can see a chart. The box and whisker plot is coming over here. Similarly, if I want to show the scatter chart, then my scatter chart is coming over here. So that's basically the functionality I want to show you as to if you use icons like this, then how you can display the visualization. Now to do that, like I mentioned during the introduction, that it can be achieved using the dashboard actions, which I will be explaining it. But before that, what we need to do is create a parameter and couple of fields, the calculated fields, just to make sure that the initial functionality is coming. Okay, so what is the initial functionality? Well, initial functionality, if you will see, right now I am in this sheet, which is a scatter sheet, and we have trend sheets, and we have box and whisker sheet. and each sheet has its own chart. So scatter has a scatter chart, trend has trend chart. It is not showing right now because we have selected the scatter. So for example, if I want to show the trend, then I need to come over here on the select chart and click on trend, and the trend will be shown. And that's basically the parameter going there in the dashboard using the action, where we are changing the value dynamically by connecting the values through the icon. So then similarly, box and whisker plot, which is this box and whisker plot. So whole idea is that how we can dynamically change the value of this parameter, the select chart parameter, using the icons, right? So whenever we click on any icon, the value of this parameter should change. So that's the whole crux of the functionality that we will going to achieve with some settings. Okay, so first thing first, let's start creating the chart. So maybe what we need is basically the sales and profit. So sales, oops, there we go, sales and profit. And what we can bring basically the customer over name over here. So we got a chart like that one, right? And you can change, you can remove the background formatting and everything, which I am just keeping it as of now because I just want to show you the main functionality. But you can choose the black background like this one. You can make the title as white and all by right clicking, going into the formatting. You can change the font from here. As you can see, I have selected this particular font. I have changed the shading of the worksheet, as you can see, is black. And then over here I have like no grid lines and no axis ruler, no axis text. Similarly in case of column. So these are like the consistent settings which I have done over here. And I believe here also I am not showing any grand total. There is no column divider and row divider, both in case of row and column for the entire sheet. So sheet setting is something which is very personal, and I have just explained how you can do it for each sheet. So we will not spend a lot of time over there, but on the main functionality. So the main functionality is that we create chart scatter 1 so that it will not give me an error that scatter chart is already present. Then we will going to create the line chart or the trend charts. Just maybe I'll take a month, right? And I will bring the category so that it will be like 3 charts like this one. If I show you this, so this is nothing but I have added the category. Similar thing I am doing it over here, category, and I'm saying trend 1. And then finally what we have is the box and whisker plot. So box and whisker, let's say we have sales, we have product subcategory. Come to show me and click over here, right? Now you have this as a subcategory. So over here, let me see, I have subcategory in the column and profit over here, and then category is basically on the coding. Okay, so I will bring the subcategory over here. That way you will see that multiple charts are created, but they are not having the effect which I am having it over here. If I show you this one, so how you can do that? Well, first of all, I will say box 1, and to get that effect you need to come in analysis and uncheck this aggregate measure, and you have this chart over here, right? So that's basically the overall 3 different charts: scatter, trend, and box chart. Now what we need to do is create a parameter like this, select chart. So what is going in select chart is you have name of the parameter select chart, it is a string and it is a list, and you have these 3 values. So what I'll do, just so that it is not creating any issue, I will say select chart 1, and we will say over here, sorry, this is a calculated fate, not a parameter. Create a parameter, select chart 1, and we keep it string, we keep it list, and we say what chart we have, what do we want to display. So like scatter, trend and box. So we will say value as scatter 1, and we will change this to just, so on the front end it will show to the user scatter, but in the back end for validation and all, for the setting, the name will be used as scatter 1. Similarly, we will use trend 1, trend, and then we will use box 1 and we will say box and whisker. Alright, so this is to display to the front end so that user can easily understand, but this we can use it in the back end, and click OK. So now once we have this chart, select chart 1, let's display this. Let's click on show parameter. Right now it will not do anything because we have not done the setting. So the first setting is that we associate this chart with this parameter, and to do that we need to create a calculated field. So we come over here, click on create calculated field, and we will say selected chart 1, and over here we will simply say this parameter. So basically whatever is the value that you are selecting over here will be coming over here. So once we click OK, you have this selected chart. Now you need to bring this newly created calculated field over here on the filter. So what do we have selected over here is scatter. That's why in the back end, if you remember, the value that we are getting is scatter 1. So we click over here, click OK. Right. So we have this scatter chart over here. And then, so this is basically your box and whisker. So we need to just make sure that not this one it is coming, but over here the box is basically selected, and you go into the filter and make sure that box 1 is selected. Now the chart will display. So now you see what's basically happening. If we select scatter, the chart will not come, but if we select box 1 or the box, then the chart will come. So looks like in the front end the box 1 is coming. So maybe over here we can just make a quick correction by editing the parameter that show it box. That's it. So okay, not a problem if it is not showing. That's not a big deal. So now we have the first chart. Let's move on. Let's change this to trend and move over here on trend. And this time again we bring selected chart 1 onto the filter and select trend 1. So trend 1 is selected for this. Click on show parameter here for this sheet as well. Now we move on to the scatter and move to the scatter, and for scatter also we will say selected chart 1 and click on this, and over here we have this scatter chart. So if I click on show filter, sorry, not this one, the show parameter, show parameter. So what you have is basically scatter. If I select trend, it will not display, but you have this particular chart. And now the box will also not display because we have not selected box. So box is here. So far we have done our basic setting that based on the parameter that we have it over here, we can select the chart. And this is also very useful technique in a way where in the front end, let's say you don't want to show the icon, but to a chart, on top of chart you have this floating parameter. Even in that way you can achieve this setting where you are showing the chart dynamically. Like for example this one, instead of using the icon we just use the parameter. But icon is something which makes the visualization more visually appealing and creative, because you don't have the regular or the traditional filters, but the icons which basically convey more meaning or more information when used creatively. So at least the first part of the objective is done. The next is bringing the icon. So what we will do is we will say icon sheet, so icon 1. For this there is a small setting that we need to do. For example, we need to basically create three dummy calculations. So if you remember, we create dummy calculation to achieve some specific purposes, like for example, rounded edges bar chart or some creative visualization. In a similar way, we will going to use basically going to create three visualizations. For example, I will say min 0, right? So we will have one card created, but it will appear once I'll create another one. I will say min 0.0. So now you see that I have the second chart. I'm saying 0 and 0.0 just so that you have the two different calculation displayed. Similarly, what you have is min 0.00. Then it's basically your third calculation and you have three basically cards. First card, second card, and third card. All of these cards need to be of shape. So I'm going to all and clicking on shape, right? For the first one, for the min 0, I am choosing the shape by going into the more shapes, and I have these chart icons that you can create it in the PowerPoint. You can go into the Google, or the noun project is the site, flat icon is the site. There are multiple sites where you can go. So I'm using, let's see, this one. I think I created this, or I used this from the PowerPoint. So this needs to basically come into your charts area. If you are not aware how to bring this, well, first thing is you need to create icon like this one, which I have created by going into the insert picture and stock images. Here you basically search for the icon. Once the icon is present, you right click on the icon and click on save picture as. Once you click on save picture as, you need to go into the Tableau repository. My Tableau repository is basically here in the document section, and over here in the my Tableau repository, you need to go in here in the shapes, and within the shapes you create a new folder, right, by clicking over here or right clicking and creating new folder. And the folder name which I have given is the charts icon. Once I have the chart icon, you can basically see the icon location where I have saved it. So give a relevant name like line chart, bar chart, box chart, and it will be there. So once you have this, you need to come over here in shape, more shape, click on reload shapes. So the folder will be reloaded. Select the newly created folder, chart icons in this case, and the first one is the trend. So the trend is coming here. The second one is basically the second calculation. Again, go into this shape, more shape, charts icon, and select the box plot. And the third one is basically here. Come to shape, more shape, and the chart icon and the scatter, right? So once you have this, what I suggest is you make it the entire view. Once the entire view is present, you can change the size. Sorry, not this one, but come to all, because we need to make sure that all the sizes are of same. They are increasing or decreasing at the same rate. Or you can, if you want, you want to increase the individual chart. For example, this one and this one is smaller than this one, then we can even do that. But that's more of a formatting, so I'm leaving it up to you how much you want to format that. So after that, the formatting we need is removing of these lines. So we need to go into the format sheet. We don't need access ticks. We don't need 0 lines. We don't even need drop lines. Don't need reference lines. Row, column, yeah. And then come over here on the border in the sheet. We don't need row divider. We don't need column divider. And then this looks like to me is a 0 line. So 0 line is present here. Row, this, none. Okay, so grid lines is completely removed. And come over here, right click and uncheck the show header. So we have now these three icons. Now the important point is that once you will go into the dashboard, right, and specify the actions, then how will you identify, or how basically Tableau will going to identify that this is a line, this is basically your the box and whisker, and this is scatter. You just have the calculation, but there is nothing which is associated with these individual charts based on which the value will change here, right? So to make an association, what you need to do is create the three again calculated field, one for line, one for box and whisker, and one for scatter. Okay, so we will come over here, create calculated field. We will say not the bar, we will say line 1, and I think the value is also line 1. Make sure it is under the double quotes. Click OK. So you have the line 1. Similarly, you create another one, and this time we will say scatter 1, and within the scatter 1 double quotes, that's the value you have provided to parameter. And the third one is your box 1, and that should be good. So now once you have these three fields created, you basically need to bring in the value on each of the ones. So first one is line. So we have this first calculation min 0. So bring this line 1 over here. Then you have the second one, which is second calculation and your box. So bring the box here. Then the third one is basically the scatter. So we have the scatter 1 and bring it over here on the detail. Now the benefit of this is that when we will do the setting for parameter action, these values will become handy to specify the parameter value based on what they contain. So scatter will basically have the value change to scatter. The box will have the value change for the parameter for box, because there is this setting we will do that is related to changing the parameter value. Alright, now we have done all these basic settings. We will come to the dashboard, and for the dashboard what I will do, first I will bring the vertical container, and over here on top I will have this icon, and I can right click and hide it. And then once I have the first sheet, below to that I will bring in the second sheet. So I just need to bring it a little bit here. Yeah, so this is good. Now first on the vertical container you have the icon. Second vertical container contains another container which is horizontal. Now in the horizontal container what we will bring is the scatter chart, the trend chart, and the box chart. So as you can see, the box chart is coming because the box is selected. If I select trend, the trend is coming. If I select scatter, the scatter is coming. Alright, so but how to remove these boxes? What you need to do, very simply right click here and click on hide title. Right click here, hide title. Right click here and hide title, and only the sheet which you are selecting will be coming over here. Trend and box 1. Right? So far so good, and we have achieved a lot up until here with the help of just some basic settings. We have not yet gone into the actions. Okay, now the next thing, it's up to us whether we want to keep these values or not, but I just keep it so that you will see that when I click on these icons you will have the value changed over here as well. So what do we need to do is need to come over here in dashboard, actions, and we need to click on add action, and here is this interesting option of changing the parameter. Once you click on the change parameter, from what is a source sheet? Source sheet is icon from where the action will come. So I will uncheck this, uncheck this, uncheck this. So icon is our source sheet based on the selection. What parameter we want to change? We want to change select chart 1. What is the field? Now this is the dummy field that we just created, scatter 1, chart, scatter 1, line 1 and chart 1. within the icon. So over here, so the first one, what do we have is basically line. So I will say line, and I will put it on line chart. Click OK. Come to add action again. Go change parameter. Again, same setting, but this time, after selecting the chart, the field will become box chart. Similarly, the third one, coming again on the change parameter, and this time the parameter value will be the scatter, the third one, and we will give it a name, the same one, scatter chart. Click OK, click OK. So now we already have the box plot shown. Let's show the scatter chart. So once you click over here, you have the scatter chart, and even if you see, the value is changing over here as well. The only thing is it is showing you this legend. So maybe what you can do is go to the sheet, click on the tooltip, and you have these tooltip. Just 1 minute, I'll come to here on the tooltip and I'll uncheck everything. Click OK, come to here and go into the presentation mode, and I click here. You get the box and plot, and finally you get, why it is not coming? Line. So box and plot is coming, this one is coming. So maybe the line is basically having some sort of a challenge in terms of value assignment. So scatter trend, okay, maybe it is something in the parameter I may have said trend 1. So need to come over here. Trend 1 is the value. Line 1 I have specified, so need to make sure that it is trend 1. Trend 1. You can keep the line 1 as the name of the field, but actual value should be same as the parameter value. So good that this error has come, and I'm sort of able to show you that this particular one. So trend 1 is something that we're going to change. Click OK, and let's come to the dashboard and see this, and click this. Now the line is coming, as you can see. So this way you have your beautiful looking chart or the beautiful looking dashboard that is based on the icon. Up to you. I'm just showing 3. You can show 4 sheet, you can show 5 sheet, number of sheet that you want to show, so that your user is able to select based on the selection. Now this is something which I'm showing it based on the icon. If you have the relevant icon, good. If you don't have the relevant icon, another use case which I can give you is in the scatter chart, what you can do in the front end, write some analysis. For example, view trend by view sales trend, or sales trend information, something like that. Over here, scatter chart is how the customers are basically scattered on profit and sales, by profit and sales. Similarly for box, see the variation by product subcategory. So this way your analysis name will be present over here. In the backend, you can give small value for all these validation of parameter and calculated field and get the output. That way, if you don't want to show the icon directly from here, an analysis name will come. From here, you can specify the number of analysis that you want to show it to the user, and you will get the right output. So that way, you can create the visualization. Similarly, what you can do is, I have formatted this little bit just to look nice. I have the title at the top, which is nothing but the sheet title. If you see, I'm using Tableau Bold 24 and it is black. And over here, I'm showing legend. So you need to make sure that first of all, this is gone. And for legend, I don't know, maybe it was online or somewhere. But for each, just remove this. So for each sheet, you need to bring the legend by coming over here. Where is that? Okay, for this, we are not showing any legend. So maybe what we can do is, for the scatter, we bring the category over here. We have the category for trend, right? We have the box, and we will put the, so make sure that if you are showing the legend, it is consistent. Then you come to each chart, go to legend and color legend. Oops, hold on, ideally it should show color legend. Make it floating by selecting this and coming over here on the floating. Put it on top of this, remove the title by right clicking on that and increase the size, reduce this and maybe increase this a little bit. Yeah, if you want to remove this, you can remove this as well by right clicking and uncheck show title and you have this. But you need to make sure that you need to not just for the trend but for the scatter you need to do the same setting. For line for box, for scatter you need to do the same setting by coming over here, going to the legend and showing and setting up the legend like I just did in case of this line chart. So that way your visualization is complete. Now you can show it as an entire dashboard, or you can basically put the sheet, let's say for example in this particular section, by coming over here and on the floating. Once it is in a floating, what you can do is you can basically put as part of the sheet, maybe like this one, and then once you will select the chart, it will be looking like it is a part of the sheet. So that's another way by which you can basically utilize not just as a dashboard but as a one component of the dashboard where you are showing the information for various charts, and you don't basically need a lot of space. If you want to show 3, 4, 5 different charts, you just show the icons and you will be done. So that's about it. I wanted to show you, wanted to give you some use cases, wanted to know you about this amazing settings which Tableau has provided for making the charts more useful and making your life simpler by adding more and more charts, more and more visualization at one part of the area of the dashboard or one section of the dashboard. So that's about it, and I'll meet you now in the next video with a new topic. Let me know whether you liked it or want to change something. I'll be happy to receive your comments.